Hello, and welcome to the Bald and Beardiful. I'm Bryce.
I am Walter Cronkite. I mean, Chris.
He wishes.
And
And he's bald.
I'm beautiful.
Didn't even notice that I switched it up.
I
But
know
I
you
love
said
it.
you called me bald, but like it's not. It's in the title, and it's not a surprise. Like
Yeah, I mean,
we're not hiding the fact that either of us are bald.
no, we
So
knew about this the minute we realized, Dad, you don't have hair.
pretty much.
On a completely random tangent, I'm pretty sure that I've heard that you remember how we were always told that the baldness came from like the mom's side. I'm pretty
True.
sure I heard recently that that's complete BS. Like, no, like they don't really know. It could be both. Just the fact that they can change things up, like Pluto planet, Pluto's not a planet, Pluto is a planet again. Is it a planet now? I don't remember. But the fact that like the scientists you take a lot of their word as law, but you never really know for sure.
Yeah, they're just making it up as they go along. It's
Like
also why
like all
doctors
of
call
us.
their business a practice because they're
Yeah,
just guessing.
pretty much. I mean, new stuff happens every day. That's a quote from I'm not gonna do a direct quote from like Scrubs. That's a thing that happens is but no, because the Dr. Kelso, the head doctor, is like, the reason I'm at a seminar every 2 weeks is because if you've been out of med school for more than 6 months, everything you know is out of date. Like like things are constantly changing, things are constantly evolving. You never know what is going to be real tomorrow versus what was real yesterday.
Well, I'm really glad that your reference to the medical profession is Scrubs and not like the New England Journal of Medicine, Johns Hopkins, anything like that, you
Doesn't
know.
matter how you get the information as long as you get it.
I mean, I would have at least gone
It
with
was a
House.
lesson from a show, is what I was quoting, not actual medicine itself. So you can go and yourself, all right?
I say
For yourself. There
I
it is.
would have gone with House. House, would have been my go-to. Uh,
Way
I
more sarcastic
I
for
will
sure.
give you points for not quoting Grey's Anatomy, though.
I've never seen it. I don't know what it is, but I just won't go watch it.
Don't
And
lie.
honestly, I've seen a handful of House episodes, and the most memorable part that I saw was when he goes to take a tapeworm out of this girl who apparently can't feel pain for some reason. Had to do something with the condition, and he's pulling, and no one's listening to him, of course. So he's pulling this out of her while she's conscious. She cut into her. She screams. They go, "You're hurting her." "No, I'm not. She's faking it." Pulls the worm out of her, and everyone's staring. And of course, the video, you just see this girl looking as the tapeworm's being pulled out of her. And he goes, and some other actor goes, "Man, that must be like 23 feet long." And he goes, "Dang, the record's 24." like, that's the only thing I remember from the show, but it is so funny.
All right.
Anyway,
We could talk about shows. We could create another
random notes.
episode, a random episode of discussing shows because I have one actually that I recently have been binging since it came to Netflix, and that's Cobra Kai, and I am
I
so happy. It
I
warms my heart, but
I'm in episode 9 of season 2 right now, I think.
I'm a little bit behind you as far as that goes. So what we'll have to do an in between episode of Netflix TV shows, whatever
That we like.
that we like, and we can discuss
The,
it
the
and talk
ones that
about
are
quotes
great, the
and how will
ones
you
that
learn from it.
sucked, the
Yeah.
ones that got away, the freaking, like, ones that
Anyway,
canceled. Yeah.
but that's
Anyway,
not why we're here. Why are we here?
tomorrow is the first day of football.
Tomorrow is the first day of football. Thank God you did not say to sniff people like Joe Biden. I'm never going to let that go. The fact that he sniffs people is just too good.
In and in public and in front of the press is too. Like, no shame. I'm about to quote another comedian,
Nope.
which is old people are the creepiest things out there. Hashtag Chad Daniels.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But yes, week one starts with the defending Super Bowl champs taking on the Texans, right?
Yes.
Tomorrow. Well, this will be depending upon it's tomorrow for us. So depending upon when anybody watches this, it's in the future.
Today's the 9th of September, and of 2020. And it comes out. The first game is tomorrow. I'm going to be watching. You're busy, but it's still going to be fun. I'm sure you'll watch your highlights released somewhere. I'm going to find somewhere to wear a mask and drink a beer. And that sentence makes absolutely no sense, but that's the time we live in.
Good old Buffalo Wild Wings should be showing the games.
Place around here called the Yard House. I'm pretty sure there's one in a lot of other places too. But I called ahead. They said that they were showing the game, and it was not too far away from me. So I'm like, yeah, I'll give it a try. And if it's a more open platform than Buffalo, maybe I can actually meet some people, seeing how I'm still new to this area, and need to, hey, I'm by myself. Can I join your table and see what sticks? Because usually it works. It's worked in the past. It works for trivia nights. It works for people that go to bars that are very more open, and it's a good environment if you can just be like, hey, like, I'm new. Can I sit down?
So, question then: when you join a new table and there are fries on the table, are those fries community, and do you partake?
Not if I'm new there. Less offered. Always a less offered. Would you like help yourself? Oh, thank you. I will. And then even then, I'll take like 5 because I didn't pay for it.
I mean, I don't know. Some people would say that fries are a community food.
Yeah, but not from people all over the community. You don't order fries for your table, and then the guy at the table next to you walks over. Oh, those fries? Thanks, and takes a fry. It doesn't happen. Well, it does, but then you throw away the fries because that guy's fingers have been somewhere else too. Anyway, we need to get on football here.
Football. Yes, week one. Any bold predictions for week 1?
I think we're going to get into that.
Well, we're going to get our picks, right?
Yes.
But bold predictions, just because, like,
complete wild card. I think you're not going to see, like, how San Francisco went undefeated until like week 11 last year, something like that.
Sure.
It was 7 or 11. I don't remember though.
Yeah, it was whenever they played Baltimore, right?
Possibly. I think that the first couple of weeks is still going to be a bit of a preseason because they're still going to try out some of the rookies, maybe. So I think like if a team like San Francisco is going to go 7-0 again, I think it won't quite get to that just because they're going to be trying out their people and trying out their new formations and stuff like that. Thoughts?
Maybe. Like you said, it counts. So I don't know how much of the preseason, like, since preseason is where you saw like the people were like competing for like spots on the team, right? You didn't necessarily see the starters. You would warm up the rookies a little bit, but I don't know. I think people are gonna. I think since it counts and they don't know really how many games that they're gonna end up playing. Well, hopefully the full season, but like expecting like, something to happen. I just expect something to my bold prediction. Something happens.
Something happens. So insightful. All of the cosmic universe coming into the magnificent bald head of his. Apparently needs a waxing because it's having some trouble getting through. But let's get to our picks.
All right, getting into it.
Do you want to do yours first or do mine first? Because you've seen mine. Seeing I have to send mine to you in order to make this PowerPoint. So do you want to go over yours first?
Sure, we can do that. So we're week 1. Who knows? All right, so hopping in.
Last year shows it's not us.
All right, so we're gonna start with mine, and actually, first out, we agree.
The new team names I'm liking. Do you know what your team name was last year?
Mine was 2 girlies, 1 cup.
Yeah, so mine was Bogey Golf. So I like how you stuck with the Rams, and I completely switched out. Anyway, we went over this last week. Yeah, I'm all Barkley, no bike. All right, yes, we agree. New England against Miami. The spread's pretty wide, but that's a touchdown and an extra point from being good points. And of course, it's New England versus Miami, and New England definitely has an advantage just with Cam Newton alone, depending on how he plays with their offense. But what do you think?
New England at home, I really think this comes down to
because all that crowd noise, right?
Not even the crowd noise. I don't think
an empty stadium.
Yeah. Well, no, I thought they were doing sound. Like so, like the soundboard guys would do. We're doing crowd noise.
Just another way for them to cheat. Come on, and it gets cranked right when the ball is snapped.
I mean, just in general, like I thought those teams were doing that, but I think
if anything, it's not going to be like extra loud noise.
yeah,
It might be like the white noise when you're trying to go to sleep. It can't be like they're going to raise it to 101 decibels like it normally would during the final 10 seconds of the countdown.
Sure.
For the hike.
Yeah, no. They're not doing that. It's just going to be like ambient crowd noise, and then like when somebody, like kind of when somebody makes like a big catch or something like that, they might have like a no, type thing.
Yeah.
Is my understanding of it.
Well, they have that anyway, even without the crowd doesn't always make that noise. It's usually a soundboard guy having fun. But we both agree on New England. I did look at Minnesota versus Green Bay. That's hard just because their division is pretty tough. But if I was to take that, I would agree with you on Minnesota.
I just don't think the Green Bay has the run defense to stop Dalvin Cook. And you have a healthy Dalvin Cook. That's really what it is. It's healthy Dalvin Cook out the gate. And I don't think that Green Bay's run defense will keep up with that, right? Which opens up Justin Jefferson, the rookie, and Adam Thielen, right? So
right.
As far as from the receiving portion of it, so they should be able to connect, right? And it's not a primetime game, so Kirk Cousins can't choke. But also looking at Green Bay, like I said, their defense really isn't all there, and on offense, they're running a 3-headed running back approach, which I don't think that's going to give them the tempo that they're going to need to beat Minnesota, right? Right. And even like, and we'll discuss this more in the news, but even with the loss on their pass rush, I still think they'll be more than equipped to be able to get to Rodgers, right? Mm-hmm. And then really, who's he throwing to? He has Devontae Adams still. Don't get me wrong, top 5, receiver in the league, easy, right? Easy on that. But outside of that, he has Lazard, who had some, hands issues, right? Like he fumbled, and or not necessarily fumbled, but wasn't necessarily as reliable of a pass catcher, right? And then you have, what was it? It was Allison Geronimo, right? Or no, not Allison Geronimo. Who is it? I don't know. I don't even know at this point because, like I said, like he was on the radar of everybody, and then he didn't produce, and I think that's where we're at. Like I don't see a leap in production for the other side of things, and then I'm not even sure who their tight end is now.
So I need to get a little better on doing a little bit of research with the defenses of some teams. But I do like your Indianapolis pick over Jacksonville, especially since now they got Rivers, who's a good thrower. Hilton's healthy. Mack healthy. Jacksonville lost.
Don't forget Jonathan Taylor, their rookie running back, is there, and they picked up Michael Pittman, another rookie receiver. They have the offensive tools, right? And Jacksonville's, like, I know you're going into Jacksonville's defense. Jacksonville does not have the run defense to be able to stop what Indy's going to bring into town, if you will, right?
Right, and then of course, actually, do you know if Minshew is still throwing for them?
Yeah, Minshew has a starting position, but with a diminished run game. Not that Leonard Fournette was necessarily like a make or break player, but you at least had to account for him, right? Like, yes. He at least had to be accounted for. He had the potential for solid numbers, right? As far as that goes. I don't know why that went, but let's get back. We're not quite at the big news of the week.
So it's telling us that, hey, we need to move it on.
We need to move on. But either way, and then so going into Buffalo and New York, I just think Buffalo has something to prove. Buffalo added to their receiving depth with Diggs. They picked up Zach Moss. As far as running back is concerned, Josh Allen is coming into his stride, and we're and we're looking at no real receiving threat on the Jets, right? They have, say, Jameson Crowder, and they do have actually, I think Brashad Perriman is injured, so they don't even have like the other receiving threat would be Chris Herndon on there as far as tight end. So okay, like not necessarily elite, not necessarily anything that they can't handle, and they'll be able to get a pass rush going, right?
Right.
And so at that point, I think this is the prediction. I've heard it around the league, right? Or as far as, or in general, people are saying that we're going to see Indy go up early, right? And something like 30-10 at half, right? And then coast the rest of the half, the second half, right? Which is a possibility. I would really prefer that they don't.
Yeah,
I'd be
right.
okay with a 30-10 final overall, but I think this has a lot of upside for the run game for Indy, and I think Rivers comes out with something to prove. I think especially out the gate, so I think he's definitely gonna want to score. Right?
I would agree with you for sure.
Oh wait, we went back to Indy, right? I went back to Indy from
Yeah.
Jacksonville. We're talking about Buffalo, New York. Jesus, what am I doing? You're supposed to keep me on task.
Yeah, that's impossible. Ask anyone.
I don't know why I went back and forth in what you said. We were talking about the
I didn't say anything.
Jets,
That was
and
all
I
you
don't know
just.
how I managed to do that. And I totally screwed that up. It was so good though that I went back.
It was a half decent thought if it was on track.
I totally lost track because it was very similar, right? Because I was saying that I was thinking Minshew doesn't have a whole lot of targets outside of Chark as well. But no, but I said the right players. I just messed up as far as that goes. But I think with the timeshare, and the other thing on the Jets is the timeshare. Jeez, the timeshare. Should we just start over?
No, absolutely not. This is fantastic to watch you suffer. We can move forward though, and just talk.
Just end my suffering. I can't even believe that was. I said I had such great thoughts, and then I somehow managed to combine it.
Then he realized his thoughts were all over the place.
Thoughts were all over the place. But what I'm saying, timeshare between Le'Veon Bell and Gore, the yardage whore, the immortal one, right? We're gonna go with that, and it does say so. You have Crowder and Herndon. And then you have the timeshare. I think Buffalo's defense can handle that and can make Sam Darnold, uncomfortable. And I just don't. I think it'll look close at the beginning, but I don't think it'll. I think Buffalo ultimately pulls away with it.
See, at least your thought process behind all this is a little more in depth than mine. I do look at them as individual pieces sometimes, but as a whole, mostly. I do like your Tennessee over Denver, even though it's an even split. I guess it.
I'm just gonna say for the sake of time. I think I agree with some of maybe the naysayers or I think they might be the minority, but I think Denver is overhyped right now for what they are. I'm not saying they don't have potential. I'm not saying they don't have upside. I just think they're overhyped out the gate. I think Drew Lock their quarterback is unproven, right? Jerry Jeudy is a rookie. I don't think he's necessarily the top rookie receiver out of this class. You still have Cortland Sutton, and looking at Melvin Gordon, I think it's a matter of how much. I think he has something to prove. I think he has the capacity still to do something, but it also depends on how much Philip Lindsay leaches from Melvin Gordon's production. And since it's just unknown, I don't know. And then we'll talk about this in the big news as well. Denver's defense took a pretty big hit this week. So that's why I'm on Tennessee. And with that, not only with that big hit, but also with Derrick Henry in the backfield. I think that Henry runs away with it, which opens up the passing game. I don't think Tannehill is going to necessarily have to do a lot of work. So that's why I'm going with Tennessee, even though it is at Mile High. I think Tennessee is gonna take this one.
As a quick kind of side note, we did decide to do things a little differently this year. These first picks may not stand through the week. We last season we decided that we would make our picks by Wednesday, and we would suffer through it until next week, until the game's played. But this year, these are just our first thoughts. If something happens to a player on our team, we feel that it may shift. We are both free to open up each other or open up to other options. The reason why we didn't do it last year was because there was no trust that we would just cheat off each other. It's basically what it is. But this year, I think, it would become obvious if one was doing it to the other. But
and I just want to win. Like, I think the whole like locking in our picks and then just writing them out, like, seriously hurt us in the overall, like in the overall competition. Like, against each other, it didn't really matter. I mean, it didn't. I don't think it made that much of a difference. But
well, overall, we were tied and going into the last week.
Yeah, and I won. I just want to remind you of that. I still won.
Yeah, you won because I made a dumb bet, but
it's okay, Mr. Pineapple. It's okay.
I was happy with that. I had so much fun being Mr. Pineapple. So much fun. Anyway, I'm not gonna spend so much time on mine. Detroit over Chicago. It's a division game. It's at Detroit. Matt Stafford's back. I'm hoping he puts on a big show. The Raiders over Carolina. Even though they're at Carolina, so travel could be a thing for the Raiders. Them losing Cam Newton, and I mean Caffrey is a force to be reckoned with, but I think Vegas can hold them off.
I looked at that game too. That was one of mine that I'm not sure. Like, see, I think Teddy Bridgewater is better than is the better quarterback, and what he's going to be able to do with the talent that he has. But I think it's a defensive thing. The loss of Kuechly on Carolina, I think is huge. I think it is, from a leadership perspective, it's huge. From an athletic perspective, it's still significant. It's still supremely significant. But I think the biggest hit is his leadership on the defense and his ability to read offensive schemes. It hurts him, and I think you're right. I think I wouldn't be surprised if McCaffrey goes off, which I hope he does, considering I got him in fantasy football. I mean, he's still going to score for me regardless. But if he goes off and ultimately he dictates the game for how Vegas has to play, like if McCaffrey goes off early and puts Vegas behind early, and that changes it up, I could see it swing the other way, but I do like the Vegas pick. I think they have a lot going for them.
Then after that one, I got Falcons over Seattle. Not much of a spread there. I need to start picking some of the bigger spreads, possibly in the non-favorite area, because sometimes you just don't know how it's going to go. I think Miami upset a lot of people at least one time last season, but Falcons and Seattle is always a tough game. So I think I picked that one basically off home field advantage for the Falcons. I mean, I know it's not huge as far as the crowd noise goes, but I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of hopeful and hoping it pays off. Then San Francisco and Arizona. I actually picked this one based on something we said last week. Even though San Francisco had a heck of a season last year, I'm thinking you said that even though this is a rival and they just seem to do better at each other's stadiums, they're at San Francisco. So I went Arizona thinking new wide receiver Hopkins signed for 5 years, I think, as of today.
Yeah, they gave him an extension. Yeah, they gave him an extension in addition to his original signing.
Yep. Drake, not too bad.
Is Drake out of the walking boat? That was the only reason I stayed away from Arizona this week. It was because of Drake being in the walking boot.
Well, I guess we're gonna find out, aren't we? And then what we got for San Francisco? I got the lineup here. Garoppolo, always great. Coleman, I like. He did really well when he was in Atlanta. So like and they definitely, if they use them correctly, Kittle always a force to be reckoned with. But I don't know. Again, I'm just hoping that the rivalry takes its toll.
Yeah, I just don't know about San Francisco, right? Because you have Debo Samuels is injured, and we don't know if he's going to be at full capacity or if he's going to start, right? If he does start, if he's going to be at full capacity. Was it Ayuk, which is their other receiver? He had some issue, which basically leaves like just Kittle, and then like you said, the timeshare that they're going to have between Mostert and Coleman. They tend to ride the hot hand, right? Like, but if they don't have the receiving threat to help balance that out, I don't know what that looks like for them, right? Because if they can just load up the box, which I don't even think they necessarily need to load up the box, but if they can essentially shut down the run and force Jimmy G to air it out, I'm not sure what that is, but what that looks like for them. But I think it comes down to Arizona's offense. It really comes down to Arizona's offense and what Kyler Murray can do with the weapons that he has now. They're gonna need to really put on a show.
Well, then, at least for me, I keep my fingers crossed. That's all I can really say.
All right, you ready to move on to the big news of the week?
Yeah, most of it's yours because I think I did all the talking last week.
All right, let's bring you back in. Let's bring it in. We can look at each other now. Talk about some big news.
You going in the huddle?
All right. So I guess I'll lead off the big news of the week for this one. So we have some significant injuries that came out, right? So Von Miller out for the season with an ankle tendon injury. So out for the season on Denver. So that's a huge hit. Once again, like it's like a Kuechly type, loss, right? He's a freak of an athlete. Von Miller is a freak of an athlete. I'll just say it, right? Not that Kuechly wasn't, but like talking Von Miller, right? But he also had the leadership, and I think that hurts their defense a lot.
I mean,
right?
have you seen the commercials? He goes through security checkpoint every time they hike the ball, and he still gets the sack. Like, it's ridiculous.
So that's also another reason why I'm on Tennessee, right? With the loss of Von Miller, that makes Tennessee just that much of a gravy pick, in my opinion, especially straight up with the points, right? And then we had was it Hunter on the Vikings, Danielle Hunter, right? He is going to start the season on IR, out for a minimum of 3 weeks. But I think that's significant, but that's not as significant because they had a tandem when they signed another defensive end, and I can't pronounce his name, and I'm not going to botch it up. Former Jacksonville defensive end Pro Bowler. They signed him. So I'll look it up. It's in the news. I'm just not going to mess up I refuse to mess up his name because, yeah. Anyway, so I think they still have enough of a pass rush threat and enough of a well-rounded defense that, yes, that hurts. It doesn't necessarily make them that killer defense that they were coming in with, but still there, right? And then we had what was it? AP signs with Detroit. Not that that's I mean it's news. I don't think that's significant. I think that just necessarily he's going to come into Detroit and break out. But I think that's significant to show that, like,
I'm pretty sure those days are behind him when he comes to just a new place and just goes absolutely.
They're adding
just outstanding.
Yeah, they're adding depth. They're adding depth. So actually, I guess that news really impacts DeAndre Swift, which is their rookie, right? So if they needed to add depth at running back, then his injury might linger or be more significant than what's being reported, right? So I think that's something to be said. Oh yeah, and then what was it? Theo Riddick, right? Theo Riddick. That reminds me. Speaking of Detroit, Theo Riddick signed with Las Vegas, adding depth to their backfield. I mean, I don't think that's going to take away from Josh Jacobs in any manner. I think that actually helps out because that'll give Josh Jacobs the relief that he needs.
To make the bigger plays.
To make the bigger plays and to be the feature back, right? I think that's a good pickup on their side with that. And then didn't the Eagles release, like, was it Nelson Aguilar that signed with
yes,
Las
he
Vegas
went to the Raiders, yeah.
So we had some movement, right? With that. So I think that's That's all the as far as the news that I have with that. What are your do you have anything else?
Mine is not big news. It is completely useless news, but I still found it entertaining because I listened to Arizona morning radio show, and I'm pretty sure it's all over in everyone else's radio morning shows too, because every morning show gets their information from the same place. I know this because I've listened to 3 in the same day, because you can, and they'll come up with the same random facts. Um, with all the scandals that go around the NFL, sounds ridiculous because someone wanted to, I believe it was, they wanted to hold Odell from playing because of what happened. He didn't
because of his preferences or his desires or whatever.
Yeah, it had nothing to do. It had nothing to do with unconsensual or anything like that. But because it got released that Odell he flew out some chick, told her not to shower, and like drop a deuce on him. Or something
it was like a model though, wasn't it? Like I read it too because it was everywhere. It was
someone under the bridge in California. I'm just saying this still happened. If it's his preference, all power to him, whatever. I'm sure other people are into some weirder stuff. But what I found most interesting about it was I'm pretty sure that someone said, are they going to not let him play? I'm like, for doing what exactly?
For being a deviant, duh.
Yeah. He didn't hurt anyone. These are his own personal, like.
Yeah, it was consensual. It was his wish.
Go live your own life and leave people alone when it has nothing to do with, if both parties were consenting, leave it alone. Yes, it's weird compared to most people's standards, but it's none of your business.
True, very true. But that actually explains a lot that he did not object to being signed by the Browns.
There you go. Yeah, that's also my little thought I had. Is of course he's on the freaking Browns, and it makes just that much more sense, right?
Oh man, some of the social media stuff, videos and memes of him are pretty funny. They're not ones we can share necessarily, but they're out there.
He's on my fantasy team this year, and I'm hoping that because of this news, he'll play even harder, just so people will want to see the highlight reel more of. Well, I mean, as soon as he does the layback catch again, he's going to be photoshopped with a big right there on the chest. It's gonna happen.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna move on. We can't.
My completely useless news. There it is.
Oh, that's good. All right, so then that brings us to the side bet.
All right, so we're gonna rehash the side bet.
So we're gonna rehash the side bet, right?
So we talked about it last year or last week. Last year feels like last year. Last week we were trying to decide on the ultimate punishment for whoever loses this season, because last season we did the pineapple costume through the casino, which was, I mean, it was punishment. It was still a little fun. This one, no matter how it comes out, it's not going to be that fun. But to decide this, the winner of this week, whoever has the most points, their side bet gets chosen for the punishment for the whole year. Mine being the 5-wing challenge, where we will get the hot sauces. I think they come in as a pack of 5 from the Hot Ones YouTube channel, and we will use their hot sauce and do that challenge. Chris, want to tell yours?
Yep. So mine is the loser has to do the Death Nut challenge. I think that's way better, and it'll be way more entertaining. We'll do it. Well, at that point, we could do it on on what? Were we going to do it on the Super Bald episode? Because we're still gonna. That's in that particular case, I think we'll do it. Yeah, that would be good because at that point we well past the season, and that'll end. And that'll be the season finale as far as football is concerned, and then we can get into the other shenanigans as well.
So this is also assuming that football goes the whole season. But if we get the game
Oh
8,
yeah, that reminds me.
If we get the game 8, we'll honor it. But if it doesn't get to half the season, we should. We should. It doesn't seem right.
All right, so we're saying okay. So we're saying that we're going to take it at week if we go at least 8 weeks, right? That we'll take the points totals at that point, and the loser has to do the punishment.
Don't fall behind.
No, I'm not worried about. I'm not worried about it.
You should look at your last year's score and tell me you're not worried about it.
I'm not worried about it. Like I said, well, now that I can make changes, like there were quite a few weeks in there that I got hit with like shifts and things that that I couldn't change, right? I couldn't go in and change it. So, or like news came out that they weren't starting somebody, or that they were rotating a lineman, from guard to tackle.
I'm loving the excuses, but either way, we'll have our either way. We'll decide the year punishment by the end of this football week. The only way that this could get any better if the winner here loses the entire thing and they sign their own death warrant, which would be great. What else we got? I actually wanted to put in a reminder. I know it's really late in the episode, but if you don't know what the heck we're talking about as far as Football 5 goes, and you decide to watch this one for the first time, go back to our old videos. Like, I believe our first and second one completely describe what it is we're talking about, because mainly the whole point of this was to play cover 5. Anyway.
All right. Well, that's good. So I guess that should do it for this week's episode.
Oh, then I could have said that in the outro.
You could have said it in the outro. Go ahead. You want to go ahead and take us out?
Please email us at theballandbeardiful@gmail.com if you have any questions, comments, concerns, speak to our lawyers, whatever. You can follow us on Facebook at The Bald and Beardiful. You can smash the subscribe button. We'd really enjoy that. Hit the like button. It's even better. Leave some comments if you like. We'll check them. Maybe. We have older videos, so if you want to see what it was like when we started out and our voices were shaky and trying out new equipment and having to do 4 takes because Chris didn't know how to work Zoom, it's fun. I think there's a hidden episode somewhere because we apparently deleted it or something. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, follow us, Facebook, YouTube, subscribe, like, but until next week, have a good one.